John Tukatlidis. Welcome to Real Estate Greco-Roman Style. I'm here with local real estate experts, Sam Giuliano. Sam,
Morning, everyone.
it's good to see you again. It's been a little while since we've had this back and forth analysis of the real estate market.
It has, and as I think everyone knows, the market has definitely changed. Some say for the better, some say for the worst. I guess we'll talk about that as we go along, and you're going to break down the numbers for us, and then we'll do a little analysis from there.
Yes, yes. So the numbers that came out of the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board at the beginning of this month showed that year over year sales across all home types have dropped substantially. The number of active listings on the market has increased substantially, meaning there's a heck of a lot more inventory out there. There was a sliver of positive news in that report that month over month we saw an uptick from July to August. But some of the numbers that I thought were telling were when you break it down by home type, we saw that, for instance, across the GTA, detached homes on the market, active listings are up 87% compared to the same month last year. But condo apartment listings are only up 28%. So of course, we're looking at lower valued home types. There was also this month another 75 basis point increase by the Bank of Canada. Sam, what impact is the Bank of Canada having on the real estate market today?
Great question, Johnny, and I think that's the crux of where we stand today. There's no doubt about it. The increase in interest rates has definitely had an impact on pricing of homes, regardless of what type of home you're looking at, townhomes, condos, or detached homes. I think the data shows it is that I think it's having a bigger impact on detached homes because the prices were just higher. There's a negative impact, obviously, on the prices, and I do think, unfortunately, because I don't think interest rates are going to be the hikes are not going to stop. I think we're going to continue having a downward trajectory of prices, not only the GTA, but I think across Canada and North America as well.
But at some point, I mean, these interest rate hikes have to slow down. They have to stop. And at that point, what's going to happen? I mean, is that going to mean that the real estate market's going to rebound? How long do you think it's going to be until that happens?
Oh, Johnny, that's a great question. If I had that answer, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. We'd be making a lot more money on the market.
Yes.
I mean, how long is it going to take? I mean, inflation is stubbornly high right now, and it's not just here, but also in the U.S. And as we know, when you're so close to the U.S., I mean, their markets impact our markets and vice versa, and our economies each impact each other. The CPI numbers that came out of the U.S., I mean, a couple of days ago were I don't want to say terrible, but they were higher than expected, which means the U.S. is probably going to, at a minimum, raise interest rates 0.75 at their next meeting next week. And the Federal Reserve's probably, and a lot of investors are factoring in a 1% hike there as well. Our inflation numbers come out next week, and I think I'm not optimistic, to be honest. And because of that, I do think interest rates are going to continue rising. How long they'll rise, John? Man, I'd love to have the answer. I don't know. I would say at least we're looking till first quarter 2023, where maybe these interest rates will start having an impact, a greater impact on the economy.
So what do people do? There are folks there that are thinking about selling. There's buyers out there. I mean, there's no shortage of people that still want to get into a home. There's no shortage of people that can't handle the house that they're in and they need to downsize, or they just want to make a move. They want to get out of the city, or they want to come back into the city. People still want to do something with their property or get into a property. So how long are they supposed to wait, or should they wait at all?
That's a great question, Johnny. I mean, there's a lot of information in that question. I think in the end, it really does depend. What are your circumstances? I mean, if you need to move, you need to move. I mean, you need to sell. And especially if you're looking to buy as well. I mean, I always look at it this way. If you're looking to buy and sell, as long as you're buying and selling in the same market, you should come out ahead. What does that mean, buying and selling in the same market? Well, the one thing you don't want to do is buy in a high market and sell in a low market, obviously, right? You're really going to take a pounding when it comes to your finances. This is, I mean, right now, if you need to sell and you need to buy, you're probably going to sell at a little bit of a discount, but you're going to buy it at a little bit of a discount as well. I mean, again, if you need to make the move, make the move. Now, if you're looking to sell and you're not looking to buy, maybe downsizing, maybe you're going to go live with family or whatever the situation might be. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, John, but what I would say is this, and sorry, I know you want to ask a question, but what I would say is this: if you need to sell, and I predict interest rates are going to go higher and you really need to sell within the next 6 months, I do it ASAP. Reason being is because if interest rates keep going up, I really do see the price trajectory coming down. So if you need to sell, if you can wait, 18 months, then I would probably say wait 18 months, right? Or wait a year and kind of play that game, because hopefully by a year, things will change when it comes to interest rates. But if you need to sell within the 6 months, because whatever the situation might be, job, you're changing jobs or you can't afford the home or whatever, I'd say probably do it sooner rather than later, just because I wouldn't want to play the interest rate game.
And if someone is making a move from one property to another property because of the potential for higher interest rates in a slowing market, now I know there's obviously an element of risk involved, but does it make sense to sell first and then buy later, maybe with the hopes that by the time you're buying your house, a couple months later, that the market might have dropped a little bit and that there's some savings to be had. But of course, that comes with some risks, which are important
Well,
to explain to the buyer or the seller.
oh, I'm really glad you put that disclaimer at the end, right? I mean, because in the end, like I said, I mean, we're all like, whatever you do, there's always an element of risk, and let's make sure we put that out there. What I'd say is this: I always tell my clients, I mean, in a market like this, I would probably sell before buy, just because there's more inventory on the market right now. So the odds are you're going to find something you're going to like to buy. Having said that, I wouldn't necessarily do the I'm going to sell now and then wait 6 months to buy if you don't have to. I always say, like I said, try to keep it in the same market, because if things turn, you might get stuck, right?
Yes.
And I'm a little more, I guess I'm a little more conservative when I'm doing this kind of things, but I really watch out for my clients' best interest and really don't like to take chances with their finances. So I would probably say, if you're looking to sell, yeah, I'd probably definitely sell first, because it's going to take a little longer, but get into that process of buying at the same time. So you can try to keep, being in that same market as much as we can.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of speculation from realtors, from experts about what's going to happen. But interestingly, in the report that came out of the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, despite the year-over-year drops in sales, and depending on the home type, in some cases there were also average price drops, but average prices remained basically the same year-over-year across all home types. In the 905 condo, townhomes, and condo apartment, average prices actually increased year over year, which again is kind of suggesting that people are looking for a lower priced home type in an effort to get into the market at all. But what was interesting at the end of the report, the Market Watch, they suggested that there's all the conditions for a strong market are still there. Immigration is still high. There's still not enough housing. People are still, making good incomes, and they're making the case for, maybe we'll actually see the market increase. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, I would love to talk to a seller right now who thinks the fundamentals are still strong for stabilization of prices that have had their house on the market for the last 70 days. Look, my concern is this. I mean, and let's not sugarcoat this. In the end, what the government of Canada and the federal and the Bank of Canada is trying to do right now is create a recession. That's what the interest rate hikes are about. They're trying to.
Why would they want to do that? Why would they want to create a recession?
It's a great question, John. And maybe I should take a step back. I don't think they want to create a recession. I think, but the overall impact of what they're going to do is create a recession. And the reason being, is they need to create what's called demand destruction. In other words, raise interest rates to a point so high where people don't have as much money out there. Businesses don't have that cheap money to borrow to reinvest in their companies. And when that happens, the unfortunate part is that you do go into a recession, because if businesses aren't creating, if people don't have enough money, because the cheap money we've had for the last 10 years, if they don't have it, they're not going to do that rental. They're not going to go on that vacation. They're not spending money because they just don't have it. And because of that, what they're trying to do is create that demand destruction. So prices start coming down, because if people aren't buying, well, guess what? What happens at your local grocery store, or what happens at the local Walmart? If people aren't buying, they're going to have to lower their prices, which will naturally bring down inflation. My concern is, like I said, with this demand destruction, if businesses stop hiring, and even worse, start laying off or shuttering their businesses because they're not getting enough business, well, now you've run into a recessionary time. And my only concern is that we don't go into a very hard recession, which then I don't care what they talk about, we don't have enough supply, or whatever their fundamentals we're talking about, good paying jobs and everything, that all goes out the window. So it really is a delicate job the Bank of Canada has to do right now in raising interest rates to try to control inflation, but at the same time, not really putting us into a severe recession that can, if that happens, all bets are off. I'm hoping the Bank of Canada has enough sense to rein in interest rates when it's time, so we don't create that total demand destruction that creates a severe recession. But John, you know me, we've talked about this for quite a while. I'm still upset at the Bank of Canada, and you agreed with me last year, where they should have been raising interest rates a quarter point at every meeting for the last year, so we didn't create the bubble we created this last winter. So I'm hoping they've learned from that, and it seems they're being aggressive with trying to cut this inflation as much as they can. But let's hope, John.
Yes,
Let's hope that they know what they're doing.
We have to remain optimistic.
100%.
I think the lesson to take from this is that it's not possible to predict what's going to happen in the market in the future, and to necessarily make decisions based on what we think might happen. I mean, if we're going to make moves, keep those moves close together, not too far apart. If you're going to sell and buy, try not to have too much of a gap in between those transactions. And I think, of course, a very high importance now, especially, is that if you're a buyer or a seller in this ever-changing market, and I think we've seen the market go through nonstop changes, it's going to help you to have good advice from a realtor, helping you to navigate the changes that are happening. And this is what we do. This is what we do. We like to be very transparent. We like to advise of what the benefits and the risks are, whatever move that you're making, because good advice in the end is going to end up saving you a lot of money. Sam, I want to thank you very much for
Sorry, John,
today.
can I just interrupt 1 second? Not only good advice, but realtors that have your best interests at heart. And,
yes.
And there's a lot of great ones out there, not just me and you, Johnny. There's tons of realtors. I mean, let's talk about our profession for a second there. There's a lot of great guys out there, or great gals out there. Let's just make sure that whoever you do work with, they truly do have your best interests at heart. Ask the tough questions, and make sure that they're taking care of you and your finances. Because in the end, this is some people's biggest investment decisions in their lives.
Okay, great, Sammy. Thank you very much. It's great to get back to having these discussions and discussing the real estate market, to be able to help people. Of course, we're both experts, and we've have several years of experience, and we're happy to help those that are looking for some guidance in navigating the real estate market. We're going to continue having these discussions as the market continues to change, over the course of the next several months. And so we look forward to meeting again and helping folks out there with their buying and selling decisions. Until next time, this is Real Estate Greco-Roman Style. I'm John Togatlidis.
Sam Giuliano.
And we'll see you again. Have a great week.
Have a good one.